What's up, y'all? We're here with another episode of the TEEJCAST. We're here with Sam Cruz, representing his band, the Day One's Music.
What's up? What's up? How's everybody doing?
How's it going, man?
Doing pretty good, man. Happy to be here, brother.
Yeah, it's awesome to have you here, dude. A Jackson Heights local, just like myself,
That's
representing
right.
Queens.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, one of the, not rare, not few, but definitely one of the musicians that I know from this area the most.
For
You
sure.
know, how long have you been living in Queens at this point?
Wow. I moved from Harlem. I used to be on 92nd and Northern, right by the precinct. I spent 15 years there, and I've been here for about 6, almost 7 years, I think.
Wow.
So almost more than 20 years. And before that, Harlem, for sure. Yeah. So
Awesome, man. So, long time in Queens, but I know you're originally from the DR.
I am. Yeah, I am originally from Dominican Republic. So, yeah.
That's awesome. I hear so much like in your music, like different just genre influences, both Latin, hip hop, funk. Like, tell us about. I know your dad was a musician too. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure, yeah, yeah. Thank you for that. Like the influence are not as obvious as some people make them, but I like them. I like to do that on purpose. My father was a musician. My mom was a musician. My father was a minister, so I grew up playing in church. My mom sings and play too. My father plays the piano, the accordion, sings like he used to sing like I think what you guys call like a barber shop or a doo-wop,
Mm.
with like they were doing different voices and that sort of stuff. So I grew up in church like playing drums and a very musical family. My sister plays guitar, my brother plays the piano and stuff like that. Yeah. So
That's cool.
yeah.
So, what was your like first, I guess, exposure to hip hop? Being from the DR, coming to New
Wow.
York, pretty young.
Yeah, I mean my first exposure to hip hop. My mom came here in 1970, early 70s, and then she stayed here for like 5 years. Basically, they've been like back and forth from 70s to the 90s.
Mm.
So I was able to travel like at a very young age here. And stay here for a few years, come back here.
Mhm.
It made me the person that I am today, which is like I feel very confident speaking Spanglish, which is something that you probably know about.
Mhm.
Like it's very New York to do that.
Yeah.
My early experience with hip hop was mixtapes, Africa Bambata,
Mm.
Churches 3, Run DMC, breakdancing, BBDs, Lee with Stripes, Fat Laces, Gazelles,
Mhm.
like the same shit that all the kids were doing back in the days. In Dominican Republic, we have at some point there was more Dominicans in New York City than there were in the island.
Wow.
Yeah. So we started traveling here like really really early on. So we were exposed to hip hop very very early.
Mm.
Um, and then back in the days, like we were not like separating hip hop so much as we do now. You know what I mean? So it was beautiful to listening to like Run DMC and Duran Duran and Bon Jovi or whatever. And the
Yeah.
same on a mixtape or the radio stations were not as divided as they are today. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So that was really cool. In that sense. So when I was listening to hip hop and I was doing hip hop, I didn't know that I was like doing hip hop. I was
Yeah.
just doing what kids do.
Yeah.
And the same thing was like skateboarding and rock music and whatever. So,
That's cool.
yeah.
Nice. I know you have a lot of vinyls. Was that something you were collecting back then? Like,
Well, I'm old, so back then that's what it was.
mm-hmm.
So there was no other mediums.
Mm-hmm.
So when I started, like, I basically inherited my father's vinyl collection and my mom's. So that's what it was. There
Yeah.
was not even CDs. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So eventually you got in love with the sound and the crackles and how big the art looks and that sort of stuff. And then now it's just like an industry that is based on almost like nostalgia, something that is not there. But
Mm-hmm.
to like real heads is just like and just another way to get the sound.
Yeah, man. I love how one thing I learned this year is just how international hip hop is. I was in Berlin and they have their
Oh, that's
own
right.
like 90s hip hop scene and and just hip hop in general, even like the drill stuff.
Right, right, right.
They have their own like a love and appreciation for hip hop that's so different than you find in New York.
Yeah.
And then even in the UK when I was out there, I was exposed to some of their what's grime, a lot of grime
Oh wow,
artists,
yeah.
and I kind of realized that a connection that put it in a way that I could relate to was that grime is kind of like their 90s hip hop, like their like New Yorker 90s stuff. And I
Makes
was
sense.
like,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, like the old school drill, right? But it was cool just seeing how it like all over the world, people take it and make it their own. And
For sure.
yeah, are there any like DR hip hop artists that you knew or worked with or anything?
Oh, sure, yeah. Some right now there's a girl named Jonah, and the it's Lápiz Consciente, Lápiz, which is the pencil,
Mm.
and Vaquero are like really good. By now, like you can call them like institutions in hip hop, Dominican hip hoppers.
Nice.
But one of the youngest kids are like Angel Dior.
Mm.
It's like there's a lot of kind of like reggaeton and dembow mixed with hip hop and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But out of the old schoolers, I think like Lapi and Vaquero are like two of the number one names in hip hop,
Mhm.
Dominican hip hop. They're big artists,
Nice.
established artists. Yeah.
That's cool, man. Yeah, we should talk a little bit about your project, the Lauryn Hill Reimagined.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sure.
But yeah, what first? I think something that drew me to that project and how I could relate it to a lot of music I was doing at the time and still
Right.
do, is kind of how it mixes the live band stuff with like these produced hip hop beats,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's sampling a lot of classic Lauryn Hill songs. So,
Right.
is there any early influence that made you want to mix the live band stuff with like the classic like beat making that you do?
But see the Lauren Hill thing, right? It was pre, AI.
Yeah,
So when I
nice.
started doing it, there was no technology to extract the vocals from
Mm.
the stems and none of that stuff. You know what I mean? So the reason why I picked up the album is just because it was like, hey, no, Lauren Hill. There's not really a lot of artists out there really doing that sort of stuff. Like I think now more than like 3 years ago.
Mm.
And like we were all waiting for like a Lauren Hill album that
Mhm.
she never delivered.
Yeah.
So now we have
Still hasn't.
yeah, it still hasn't. Yeah,
At the
yeah.
time of recording this.
Exactly. So you have like the unplug, and there was like, to me there was like so many gems there.
Mhm.
They just like needed to be, I think, re-execute, like reintegrated.
Mm.
So I was just like, yo, like I'm gonna try to deliver like the new Lauryn Hill album to them.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And to a certain extent, I just do this for my peers. You know what I mean, and whatever. I think people really liked it. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I think it was like really cool just to add instrumentation to the Lauryn Hill Unplugged.
Yeah,
You know?
for sure. I hear the live instrumentation and I also hear just like, something that would be on a Lauryn Hill album, like, just how the beats are made, like
Okay,
that
appreciate that.
MPC almost kind of
Sure,
sound,
yeah,
just
yeah.
like classic, almost her Fuji's era. Like
Oh,
it
absolutely.
still pays tribute to that,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but with like a trumpet solo on a track or like the
Exactly,
live bass you were showing me.
exactly that.
For sure. So let's get into one. We're gonna play one of the songs from it, have the people listen to it, and then we'll talk a little bit more about that song specifically.
Let's
Sounds
get it.
good?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
The DJ accepts no responsibility for the next record. This is a request.
I get out. I'll get out of all your boxes. I'll get out. You can't hold me in these chains. I'll get out. Father, free me from this bondage. Knowing my condition is the reason I must change. Your stinking resolution is no type of solution. Preventing me from freedom, maintaining your pollution. I won't support your lie no more. I won't even try no more. If I have to die, oh Lord, that's how I choose to live.
Yeah, royal and chemist, strong prophets and wise scholars. Beyond Harvard to Yale, knowledge is based upon logic. Rebel against evil, ignorance, and hypocrisy. But it's hard to breathe with demons sitting on top of me. I won't do the same old two-step. I'm Malcolm, I'm Martin, I'm George Floyd, and I'm Yusef. I'm every martyr, keeping my aim sharp like a steady archer. Here to stay, but not afraid, prepared for my daily departure. Love and discipline beyond all things. Nigerian, Cherokee blood, strong genes. Humble status quo, brilliant, far from your average Joe. Building with elders, politicking while puffing a child of smoke. I couldn't see the roadblocks that I was facing until I broke out of that box that I was raised in. Never forsaken, golly's my design. I put my mind, spirit, and soul and body on the line one time.
I won't be compromised no more. I can't be victimized no more. I just don't sympathize no more. Cause now I understand. You just wanna use me. You say love and abuse me. You never thought you'd lose me. But how quickly we forget that nothing is for certain. You thought I'd stay here hurting.
They're trying to buy
Your
the
guilt trip's
rights
just not
to the
working.
song. Lauryn Hill's
Pressing me to
they got in
death.
touch. They first sent me a cease and
like
desist.
you. I'll take a
So I was like,
sacrifice,
man, I was just like, I just
everything
put
was
this down.
golden
They were like,
gold.
yo,
That's
fuck
how
you.
I choose to
Take that shit out
live.
of you too. So I was like, all right. And then they called me back again, asking me to give them the arrangements. And then like they would let me play the stuff on YouTube. And I was like, yo, all of you can suck my dick.
I
Like, you
get
can
out.
play this arrangement up. Yeah.
I get out of all your boxes.
Now they're like,
I get out.
maybe the beginning of
You can't hold
they
me
hit
in
me
this
up.
chain. I get
Yeah,
out.
let's make a meeting this year and see
I
if we
get
can
out
talk
all
about
your
like selling the
boxes.
arrangements. So I was
I get
like,
out.
all right, cool.
You can't hold me
A little bit
in
of
this
bread.
chain.
Yeah,
I
they
get out.
assholes though. They fucking assholes.
I get out of all your boxes. I get out.
They're trying like to make me like made a
You
contract for
can't
them to
hold
like
me in this chain.
take all the
I get
arrangements.
out.
And I was like, then after that you're gonna send me the cease and desist probably because I know how they are. You know what I mean? They're not gonna be nice. So I'm like, all right. But as it stands right now, they are letting me keep the stuff online.
Nice. All right, we're gonna tune back in. That was. All right, so that was "I Get Out" featured on the Lauryn Hill Reimagined, a Would-Be album. So that was "I Get Out" by the Day Ones on their Lauryn Hill Reimagined, a Would-Be album. And yeah, man, that was a dope track.
Thank you. Appreciate that. That track features also one dear friend of mine named Swanati. Shout out to Swan. Swanati from Knife Wonder, producer fame.
Yeah, it was
he's
a
a good
smooth
guy.
verse in there. It was like it fit seamless and fit the vibe, and that was cool, man. That's one of my favorite like tracks that's originally on her Unplugged
Okay.
album.
Okay.
So it's cool seeing it. Like I wouldn't imagine that kind of beat under it. We were saying it's like 808-esque and
Yeah.
almost reminds me of the Jersey Club thing I said, but then towards the end it gets more like Latin, you know?
It does, yeah. It actually has a reggaeton beat, like
Yeah.
a really famous reggaeton drum break.
Nice. Yeah, it took
So-
that like, originally that song is so like stripped down and intimate and it's I think it has so many verses. I remember on that album.
I chopped so much stuff out of
Yeah.
it, and it's dark. It's really dark. Like she
Yeah,
was going
right.
through some stuff. Like she started crying in the middle of the
Of that song?
Unplugged. No, I don't know if it was
There's
that
one of them, yeah, where she's
Yeah,
crying.
you know. But she was she has no filter. You know?
Yeah,
You know.
and I'm surprised too because that whole thing, she's not playing to a click. She's not, she's just up there just hurling guitar.
Yeah.
So you must have really chopped it up and got the, the tempos right to fit this arrangement.
I sure did, man. Like I said, there was no AI like doing that for me like back in the day. So it was a lot. It was a headache to do it.
Wow.
To put everything to a click. Be able to organize and make new verses because some of the verses were really, really long. Like some verses were like 3 minutes long. You know what I mean? With 3 minutes on 3 verses in one song. So so it was a little challenge, but I love I love a good challenge, and I feel like the product was exactly what I really wanted to put out.
Yeah, that's dope, man. And I was gonna say too, it's funny when you were first promoting this album, I was like, man, he's working with Lauryn Hill. Like I remember you were saying like new Lauryn Hill album coming out, And I was like, is he producing the Lauryn Hill album? Like, but now you're saying the estate contacted you and they wanted to talk about the arrangements?
They sure did, yeah. But that was one of the perks of it because a lot of people like shout out to my family in Dominican Republic. Like, so I have some cousins that I haven't really talked to in like years, and they were like, "Yo, like, what's up? Send me some money." So I was like, you tell people straight up in their face, like, I'm not working with Lauryn Hill,
Yeah.
but then you put this out and it looks like, it really looks like I am. So that was some of the perks. Yeah, they approached me about in the beginning of the summer, and they were basically asking me about me selling their arrangements for some of these songs. So we in the talks with that for sure.
That's cool.
So it's gonna be very positive as far as like being able to maybe make a little money and for them to benefit from some of these amazing musicians that I work on this project.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lauryn Hill. And what else was I gonna say about this? Also, this song doesn't really have any live band instrumentation, or does it?
No, I mean, like, none of the songs really do. Like, and in some cases, it's me playing drums and I'm looping. And what I really like to do as a producer, I could sort of like come from like that, sort of like that Mark Ronson school of just like getting really, really, really good musicians in one room. And if they really understand the type of stuff that you're trying to do, you don't really have to say much, man.
Yeah.
You just be like, just jam to that. And if you have the ears after, you can just chop it up and, just get busy on the MPC.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I consider that, live band instrumentation, as opposed to taking a sample that's like more processed, creating the sample yourself.
Sure.
Especially
these days, like you hear some bands who are supposed to be playing live, but it's loops, long loops, but loops, and that's okay.
For sure.
That's valid,
Definitely. It could still have that groove, still have that organic feel, as long as it's produced right and, has the right intention with it.
Indeed.
For sure. So I know that people can't find this one on YouTube currently, but it's been on Bandcamp for a couple years now.
It's been on Bandcamp for a while. It's back on YouTube.
Oh, yeah?
You can find it. You can find it like on Day Ones, TEEJCAST, everything. YouTube is the platform for it. Yeah, you can still find it there. Yeah,
nice.
I hope so.
That's cool, man. Yeah, I just started getting into Bandcamp more. I dropped a couple songs in there, and I'm seeing it as a cool platform for artists, outside of the Spotify. I just like how people have the option to donate. They have the option to sign into the mailing list, and it just gives them that.
Yeah, and they have the culture too. Like, I haven't been able to dig as deep as some people do, but they do have their own platform and culture about them. Like you said, like donating, helping people out, shouting people out. Bandcamp is really good about putting the platform, the project out into the front of the platform. Like, they have like a front page of their Bandcamp thing, and I was lucky. They put me on for a week on the front.
The editorial?
On the editorial, which I was able to grab a few bucks from there. People donated, whatever. Not a lot, but a few.
Cool. Yeah, that's something I'm looking towards, like learning how to submit to the editorial and stuff, and that's the whole thing. Because like even my songs that I don't have the sampling, issues like that. Like I still would put them on streaming.
Yeah,
but it's just like to at first give people the option to donate and and connect on that deeper level. I even thinking about putting like the instrumentals and stuff of it.
Sure,
and
we
even
should
like acapellas and stuff, so people can remix. They can maybe rap over it, whatever they want. So it's cool.
You should. TEEJ, you're like really talented, my brother.
Thank you, dude.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah. You should. I mean, like, as far as like how to go about doing things, how do you usually go about them? Like, how do you go about like choosing where you're gonna put your music on and how you're gonna go about doing that?
Yeah, it's a process forever changing. I'm more trying to find the platforms that I resonate with most.
Okay.
And those are usually the ones I have the most control over.
Okay.
Like my YouTube page is my page. People can comment, people can message me. And now Bandcamp's starting to become more of that. Where it's like my own website. It's on the front page of my website. So, but yeah, I also like I get the value of Spotify and all the major streaming ones too, where they they just more people have it, more people can just throw it on in the car. So I think it's a balance of doing both, where you want to put it on places that are going to give you the exposure, and you also want to put it on places where you can really connect with true fans and monetize, and just have that deeper connection.
That's what I want to hear. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, for sure, man. So what's coming up next with you? Is it another Day One's album? Is it a Reimagined project?
Yeah, I have two. I have the live band that I do, which is basically I play drums and I trigger samples when I play drums. And with that is gonna be my wife playing the violin and the xylophone, my brother playing the keys, and me playing drums and triggering samples live.
Nice.
And the guy that you guys heard early on, Swan Knot, is gonna be the MC there. So I have that coming out, and then I also have a new Reimagined album coming out. And this time around, we choose on about 7 to 8 songs, famous Latin American ballads. You know, from everywhere from 50s to the 80s. And now that we have the technology available, we have the more technology available to get the stems out and stuff like that. We definitely got busy with that, and then cool. We definitely flip those samples, flip those classic tunes, and I think they're gonna sound really great. Can't wait to see.
Man. Yeah, especially like that Reimagined. I'm sure there's gonna be so much growth, like from this one where you use no AI to get the samples, and then a new one where you have that tool available. Like, I'm sure it's gonna bring a lot of inspiration, you know, new approach.
For sure.
That's
so
awesome,
I
dude.
can't wait to put that one out too. So we done with the mixes, done with the production. My brother Vert is co-producer of the album, so this is great.
Nice.
So that's
cool. Let's pause there. I know you gotta go soon. So I'll just I'll tag it out with the outro.
Okay.
So day one, should I on Instagram? It's just day one's music, right? The day ones.
People call it day ones because the.
Just like go right to Instagram name. The day ones music and YouTube. What's the YouTube? Same thing.
Same thing, yeah.
The day ones and then Bandcamp is the same thing. A Woodby album. Cool. So thanks to Sam Cruz for being here. Shout out to his band, the Day One Music, the Day One's Music. You can find his Lauryn Hill Reimagined project on Bandcamp and YouTube.
That's right.
And look out for more music from him. You'll see him. You know, any performances you looking forward to coming up?
We don't have anything cooking right now, but we will definitely for next year for sure.
Awesome. Yeah, I saw some videos of you playing with I think it was just you, your wife on violin, and the MC. Was that trio?
Yeah, my brother was still there, playing the keys too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that was in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. Yeah.
It was at like a college or something, right?
Yeah, no, it was in the streets. It was in downtown Rhode Island, right? It was Culture Shock. It's a annual festival that they have over there, and they invited us. Like they have people from all over the world. It was a really good place.
Cool.
They
Awesome,
really liked that. So
nice. Well, looking forward to collabing with you sometime in the future.
For sure.
Feel free to send me any beats. Feel free to keep doing your thing, man. Because you got some dope ideas in the works. I love how you mix, all these different cultures and vibes. So keep it up, dude. Another episode of the TEEJCAST. Peace out, y'all. Join us for next time.